I do want to make some brief comments, if I may, about the approach of the government to secrecy and the approach to the government to transparency and the approach to the government to accountability. The government want to keep this modelling secret because they know that they have cost Australia billions of dollars by standing in the way of action on climate and renewables. And it's not the only secret, of course, that we know the Morrison-Joyce government is determined to keep from Australians. Recall that yesterday Mr Morrison got every one of his MPs to vote to protect Christian Porter and his secret donations. But he can't get his divided government to vote for net zero emissions by 2050. The fact is, Mr Morrison never takes responsibility. He leaves it to others on vaccines, on hospitals, on quarantine, on bushfires, on climate, on renewables, and he's not even in the room when his government's policy on climate and renewables is being decided by Mr Joyce and the Nationals. But when it comes to protecting Mr Porter, that's a job Mr Morrison puts his back into. Well, if only Mr Morrison put the same effort into fighting for the Australian people as he puts into fighting for Christian Porter. Mr Porter. If only he put as much effort into tackling climate change and ensuring we support renewables as he puts into protecting Mr Porter. The whole reason for this government's existence over 8 long years has been to stand in the way of action on climate and renewables. And make no mistake about it, any deal that Mr Morrison comes up with now, with Mr Joyce's support, will be nothing but political spin to get Mr Morrison through Glasgow and to get him through the election. But I'd say to the government, Australians are on to you. Australians are on to you. They've seen what Mr Morrison is like and they know he isn't the real deal.